Hi, I'm Paris, and I recently reached a couple milestones that impressed even me about myself. So I wanted to give a shout out to a couple folks in the Southern Hemisphere who have helped to inspire and influence me to meet those goals and even pass them. Now, I've been on a medication called Lupron for over 2 years, 2 very long years. And the main thing it does is it keeps my testosterone levels down at 0 because I was diagnosed a couple years back with prostate cancer. So I've had the chemo, had the radiation, but I'm on this hormone suppressing therapy for 3 years. So I have 1 more year on it. And it's really something that the side effects affect you physically, emotionally, and it's something that over time it just wears you down. I did some videos earlier this year about my weight going up and trying to find some way to stop that from happening. And I've mentioned a couple times how one of the side effects I've had now also for about 2 years is anemia. I have a lower than normal number of red blood cells, so it takes extra effort to get the energy to do things, and especially to do things quickly. So one of my milestones is, as I mentioned, my weight going up. It was 200, 205, frightening thoughts of it getting back up to 240, 250, where it was several years ago before I really made a determined effort to change diet and lifestyle and get that back down under 200. Well, it's been a 200, a little over, a little under, a little over, and it's been that struggle since the start of the year. Finally, my weight is down under 195 pounds. Now, I'd prefer it be 180. But I'll take 195 since I'm working with this Lupron testosterone anemia thing all going on. And the other milestone is something I really did not have any hope of being able to do while I was still on the Lupron, still anemic. I did not think I could walk fast enough to be able to do a mile walking in under 18 minutes. But to my amazement, I actually did. 17-minute, 55-second mile. Man, that's good for me. So I wanted to give a shout out to 2 influences from the Southern Hemisphere, 2 influencers who have helped push me to meet these goals, even if they didn't know they were doing it. First is the woman who does the thumbnails for this channel, and for all the good thumbnails on Epic Review Guys, she's done those. I know her name is pronounced Selene, but I always refer to her as Celine because it's pronounced differently in English. But she's been working with me on this and my other YouTube channels. Anything that's graphics, video related, I always go to her. But she also knows my whole story. We've become friends. And she told me early on when I was dealing more with some heart things before the cancer things. And I was all about, I've just got to change my diet. I've got to get the diet part right, and that will fix everything. And she was always saying, well, yeah, that's good. But you know, you really got to get out there and move. You really got to be active. You got to be physical. And I was having a hard enough time working on giving up all the foods that I love so much that I knew weren't doing good things for my heart. And so I didn't have a lot of energy left for doing, in addition to that, making myself go out and exercise, because I'm not I like to go out and exercise kind of person. But she continued through the years to remind me that was also an important part of being healthy. And she's not the kind of person who lets it go just because you say, yeah, I don't feel like that. And she's not going to cut you any slack. So even from 5,000 miles away in the Southern Hemisphere in Argentina, I could still feel the pressure. I really ought to go out and do some more steps. Which leads me to the other person I give some credit for all this to, which she would have no idea about this. She runs a health, gym, fitness instruction type thing. I can't remember how I started following her on Instagram years ago, but she's in Australia, and she does different events, and one of them just this last September was Step It Up September. And so you just signed up on the website, and then you committed to doing 10,000 steps a day each day in September. I had not had a month where I'd come anywhere close to that. I could occasionally get over 10,000 steps in a day, but day after day after day, I knew it was going to be really hard to do that. But I signed up for it, and I was going to get some little digital badge thing at the end. But really, it was about testing myself. But it was through her putting that out there, that sort of structured goal where you've got to answer to yourself, but also to someone else, because I would get reminders and messages about, have you got your steps in for today? And some days were so hard, but I forced myself to do it. I was out at 10:30 at night going around the blocks till I could get up to 10,000 on some days because I had forgotten about it or I didn't feel too well in the morning. So I put it off. But no, I'm going to get to 10,000 steps before I go to bed. And so the rest of the house is asleep, and I'm out there walking around the neighborhood till the Fitbit said 10,000. And you know what was so hard in September, but I felt so good about accomplishing, got a little easier in October, because I said, I'm going to do another month of this, 10,000 steps a day, because I showed myself I could do it. So what excuse do I have for not doing it this month? Actually got easier, and I noticed it was taking me a little less time to do it. And I had read walking is great exercise, lots of health benefits, but if you can push it up just a little, if you can push it up to doing 18-minute miles when you walk, you actually then are doing a whole lot more for your body. And so I said, oh, well, that's great, but my 22-minute miles, that's even pushing. I could get maybe to 21 minutes. I thought, just with the medications I'm on and just how I've been dragged down by all this stuff and feeling sorry for myself for 2 years, I thought, I'm never going to be able to get to 18. So I wasn't pushing myself to meet that goal because I didn't think it was going to be possible for me to meet that goal. But at the end of October, I'm going to do another month of 10,000 steps a day. In fact, I may just keep forcing myself to do 10,000 steps a day because, interestingly, I started feeling better being so active. Now, the reason I wasn't so active on some days is I just really did not feel well. I didn't have the energy, but had some residual heart issues from things I was dealing with a couple years ago. I would have the aches and pains and joints and muscle things going on because of the no testosterone for 2 years. But it's also a lot of excuses. I realize I can either look for excuses about why I'm not going to go out and get those steps today, or I can look at some way to summon up the energy to go out and do that. And by being able to do it for 1 whole month, for 2 whole months, if I could do it then, why can't I do it now? So that took my excuses away and gave me a lot more confidence that I'd be able to continue doing this. That all started with the Step It Up September from that fitness trainer, health enthusiast online in Australia. Geez, I don't know, 10,000 miles away, named M. So I owe both Selene and M a big debt of gratitude for one, pushing me, even though I'm sure she had no idea that I was going through these struggles to get through that Step It Up September. And also from Argentina, that in the back of my head, I was still hearing, yeah, but you know, it's not just the diet. You really have to get out there and be active too if you really want to have a healthy lifestyle. So I accomplished a couple physical things, one of which I knew would be difficult. The other one, I didn't even think I was physically capable of doing it right now. So I really owe a big thank you to my influences from the Southern Hemisphere, and be open to whatever you find, wherever you find it that inspires you. It can make you do amazing things, and I'll see you on the next review.
There are so many choices and you don't want to stress. You want your health food at home, receiving only the best. That's what we're here for, we give honest reviews. parristx.